Welcome to What's Trending with Tire Review, presented by AAPEX 2022. I'm Maddie Weiner, and today on the podcast, I'm joined by members of the Ohio Tire and Automotive Association to talk about training. I'm joined by Tom White, owner of Tire Source with 6 locations in Northeast Ohio, as well as an OTAA member, Jeff Wallick, president of the OTAA and also director of training for K&M Tire, and Alex BOEHNKE, executive director of the Ohio Tire and Automotive Association. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks
Great
for having
to
us.
be here, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here. I'm so excited to talk about some of the training that the OTAA has done this month, and it's really great program. You guys launched a multi-year training partnership with the Tire Industry Association. So some of this training is a part of OTAA's sort of month of training. Can you kind of explain that, and how did this partnership come about?
Sure, yeah. So first of all, thank you for having us. Thank you for Tire Review and for the viewers as well. So for us, I think to really understand that question, we have to kind of go back to the very beginning. So we've actually been around since 1967, serving tire dealers and automotive retailers in the state of Ohio. And for a long time, we had a college scholarship program, and it was really good. We contributed back to our members and to their kids, and at some point, we all kind of sat down and we thought, you know, we're member funded. Is this the best use of member resources that we possibly could come up with? And so we did see some people coming back into the industry. But for us, we at some point decided to kind of retool that college scholarship program into an upskilling opportunity. So fast forward to, this was probably January of this year, 2022. We had a conversation with a gentleman named Dick Gust, who's the CEO of the Tire Industry Association, a longtime industry guy, fantastic person, and had a really good conversation and decided right then and there, you know, it makes sense for us to partner with them, sort of a longer term thing. And the objective was to bring their 300 level ATS, Automotive Tire Service Training, to our members. And we thought, you know, what's the best way to do that? We can bring all of our members to one place, or is it better, you know, if we're going to serve our members well, we probably ought to go to them. So that's where the TIA partnership really came from.
Okay.
And it was probably April of earlier this year. A couple of our board members who run fantastic businesses had partnered with this company called Garage Gurus in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
So just so happens they've got a big facility and some offices, and their leadership team is in Illinois. So I took a trip up there and met some of their team and launched a training partnership with them. So for us, TIA ticks the box for tire training. Garage Gurus ticks the box for automotive training. And so for us, how do we launch this partnership? We do an annual golf outing for our members once a year, and it's a fantastic member event, and it was again this year probably our biggest and best yet. And for us, we also, you know, how can we deliver value to our members? We paired that golf outing and actually did some training for our members and their technicians in the Columbus, Ohio area, and that was in August of this year. We had 2 days of training, 4-hour workshops each day, and had something like 15 different technicians came through that training, and it was a successful way to launch a training partnership for sure.
That's great.
Yeah, I just, the only thing I would add to that, I think Jeff did a great job summarizing, is this would not have been possible without the tremendous leadership by our board and by Jeff to really reimagine what our scholarship program, now training program, would look like. Without their hard work and volunteering their time, we wouldn't even be able to offer this for our members. So tip of the cap to them.
But for sure.
But the other key is how energetic and young you are, Jeff. As far as bringing the training agenda out that we talked about, I mean, it's exciting.
And it's a rigorous schedule too. Yeah, you guys
a
have
lot.
training. I mean, you mentioned Columbus. There's some in Cincinnati as well this year. Is that right? Or
yeah. So in fact, let's see. This week, right now, we're doing CTS training with TIA at Goodyear/Cooper Tire headquarters in Findlay.
Okay.
So we've got a couple of tire technicians of our members going through that training, like as we speak. Last week in Findlay, we had ATS training and had a couple of technicians go through that. And then you're right, Maddie, in October 11th through the 13th, we're going to be at Tire Discounters training facility in the Cincinnati area, and we have some TIA ATS training going on there. So it's a fair amount of coordination, and to Alex's point and Tom's point, we have a fantastic board, you know, leading the way. To me, I think if somebody's going to, you know, run a successful state tire association, an engaged board is the key. If you have that, you have everything.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, that's a huge, portion of it. Are there other training opportunities coming down the line? Do you guys hope to continue these programs?
For sure, yeah. So it's our intention when we started this was, number one, what's your objective? You have to be really clear on what your objective is going to be.
Yeah.
Beyond that, how do you define success? If you're looking for a room full of 50 members the very first year you do this to call it success, you're going to be woefully upset with yourself. So for us, we were really clear on what success looks like this very first year. And because of that, I think it allows us to take a more long-term approach to these training partnerships. So yes, absolutely, our intention is to do these for several years to come, well into the future. And we're working on a new training partnership. We're not maybe in a position to talk about it just yet, but
we'll follow up.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I know this is a big investment. Training is a big investment, not only for tire dealers and automotive repair shops, but for the OTAA as well. So how much is the OTAA investing in each technician per session? Can you maybe talk about some of the investment from your side as well, from the Ohio Tire and Automotive Association side?
For sure. So I like the word investment there. I think that's important. And for us, training absolutely is that. When you invest into people, you're going to get a return.
Right.
So for us, we know that, let's say we invest something like $1,000 per technician. And
wow.
Luckily we've been, well, not luckily, I should say, the board prior to me joining were good stewards of the resources, including Tom, for a long time. And so we're in a position today to be able to make those investments into our members. So if we invest something like $1,000 into a technician, we know that there's going to be a return not only to the business, but to me, I think if we're not getting people home safely to the people who love them most every day, is that successful? So
right.
We can replace stuff. A vehicle falls off a lift, God forbid. We can replace stuff, but we cannot replace that person. So if we can help a tire technician to do their job 10% safer, that's been an investment well worth making.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I think Jeff summarized it well. I think the only thing I would add to that is, if our industry is going to thrive and continue to be able to grow, and if we're going to be able to continue to have the independent tire dealer be the focus of our association, we have to have a workforce and a skilled workforce. Yeah. So making those investments, giving back to our membership to make sure that when, we don't hear, hopefully we won't hear stories anymore of when someone's getting ready to open a tire shop, but they don't have techs to fill the tire shop.
Right.
That's a huge problem. I mean, the demand's there, the customers are there, and what can we do as an association to make sure our members can be successful and have the workers they need? So that's the safety component and the workforce component on behalf of the industry is really what it's all about.
For sure, yeah. And just to summarize, for Ohio tire dealers interested in the OTAA training, can you maybe describe where they can find out more information about this? And it is 300 level ATS and CTS, correct?
Yeah, so we started the partnership focused on the ATS training, and then through just sort of my work with K&M Tire, we saw a real need for the commercial tire service training as well. Where can a member go to find more information? So in Ohio, we have something like about 200 different members, and we're the birthplace of the tire industry. We're really proud of that. So if somebody is not currently an OTAA member, or you're not sure, you can always reach out to us, info@ohiotire.org. Otherwise, ohiotire.org is the place to go, and then we've got a training tab on there. Got all the information somebody would need. I shot a short video to kind of give somebody an idea of what's in store, and then we have a QR code and also a link to sign up for the actual training. So we have one more training event later this year in October 2022, and then we'll update the website once we have our training calendar scheduled out to 2023.
Awesome.
And
very
of course,
cool.
But the key to that is to become a member of the OTAA.
Right.
I mean, that's the big component.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Folks can find us on Twitter and LinkedIn as well, and all the social media channels too.
Awesome. Get connected. I
Yeah.
love it. Yes, for sure. Now, Tom, I wanted to talk to you. You're an independent tire dealer, local. 6 locations in Northeast Ohio with Tire Source. Can you maybe describe? I know you guys take part in a lot of training. So can you describe maybe the importance of training to you and the employees at your business?
Sure. What I always say is you're only as good as your least trained associate. So it's important that we have entry-level technicians starting out that are changing tires, changing oil. Yeah. And the number one thing to do is be safe. So that's like first and foremost. And then we want to protect our customers' assets. But it's so vitally important that they do the training. They understand how to lift a car, where to properly lift a car, how to stay in a safe range, how to wear all their protective gear. I mean, there's a lot to the training, and some of it's very basic, but that's the walking, breathing part that everybody has to do. The eye protection, the shoes. There's a lot of components that you have to make sure that they're up on in the training.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And can you describe? Do you feel training has been an important retention tool for you guys at Tire
Very
Source,
much so.
or how has it played a role?
We've talked about, we like our guys to be AAC certified, and they're not, all of them are not TIA certified, but that's one of our agendas for 22, 23 to make sure everybody that works on a tire is TIA certified, because we think that's important, and we've talked about that many times. But if there's a way to dangle a carrot in front of our guys as far as, get the AAC certifications, or even get an entry-level associate that wants to learn our industry, and then give them some sort of a scholarship. I mean, I'm willing to say, hey, let's offer them a scholarship to a good, technical school.
Right.
And it's, we need people to get it. It's not a bad industry, and it's been pushed back so much over the years, the trades. And you can make a really good, decent living in Northeast Ohio.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah. So you're using training more as like well, obviously safety, of course.
Safety's number one.
Number one, but also maybe as an incentive to,
Also as an incentive.
Get to the next step.
And as they get in pay increases, as they get more certificates, so it's kind of, that's the carrot part of it. So.
Got it. Okay. Very cool and very interesting. It's great to see, that investment, like we talked about, the investment in training. So that's great. That's awesome. Now, you were talking about the technician shortage. Obviously, it's been a problem in our industry for quite some time, and it's, sort of been compounded by these recent labor shortages. So this may be a question for all of you.
I'll take that one. It seems like right now it's still very difficult.
Okay.
It's almost impossible to find a finished product of a technician.
Okay.
So we found what's worked best for us is to grow them from within. But the issue we're having right now is we have people come in and they'll interview, they will take a position, they'll onboard, and then they don't show up. So it's like, I don't know if there's something that happens probably once a week, but we found that growing the people from inside has helped us the best. But it's tough out there.
Yeah. We've heard that from other tire dealers as well when we've done different stories about technicians and hiring qualified help and stuff. But this is a resource, the OTAA is offering a resource for tire dealers to, kind of, I guess, reel technicians in. And so
we in my work at K&M Tire, we work with 20 or 30,000 independent dealers all over the country. And it's something that we've heard, as you mentioned, Maddie, for quite a while. So I think for years, at least I'm not going to point at anybody else, but for me, I was looking for what's the silver bullet answer. And I think the reality is that, this has kind of been the existential crisis in the industry, and it's been that way for a while. So I think if there was an easy answer, we would have already found it. I think the answers we're looking for are likely to be, a formula. So to Tom's point, growing your talent from within, focusing on upskilling your people is going to be an important part of, of that. I also, like that Tom talked about not just acquiring new talent, so there's an incentive for somebody to come join Tire Source or any independent dealer, but it's a retention tool as well.
Yeah, right.
So I think, it's likely the answers we're looking for are likely to be part of a formula. And I think upskilling and some of the work that we're doing at the OTAA is part of that.
For sure. No, that's great. And, the OTAA has done so well in, sort of creating a great community within the organization and, offering so many resources to its members like this training. So if you were talking to other, state associations and they're interested in providing training to their members, how would you recommend they implement? I mean, I know you guys have a very rigorous schedule, but how would you recommend that they implement, some training throughout, their states or state in which, they serve?
Yeah, so there's several, I think, really remarkable state tire associations. A couple that stand out. This is not an all-inclusive list, but I know North Carolina, California, Texas, the Northeast. They have fantastic state associations. In fact, I wish we communicated together a little more often, and maybe that's coming. I don't know. I'd love to get in touch with them, but I think so. I'm about as biased as it gets. I'm from Northeast Ohio, birthplace of the tire industry. I happen to think that we in Ohio run a really tight ship and a fantastic leading organization, but I know there's several who do a nice job. So I think if another state association was looking to get into some sort of training for their members, I touched on it before. I think the first thing you got to do is figure out what specifically do you want to accomplish. If you start with an unclear objective, you're likely to end up not where you want to be. So once you know specifically what you want to accomplish, I want to offer tire training and I want to offer automotive training. From there, how do you define success? From the very first year, if you say, I need to have full classes, otherwise we're going to kill this thing right off the bat, I think somebody's likely to set themselves up for, maybe not to be as successful as they could be. So for me, I think it would be getting crystal clear on what does success look like, and then finding the right partners. For us, that was the Tire Industry Association, people like Kevin Rolling, Dave Zalasko, who's a friend of Tire Review, were fantastic people. And then, beyond that, it was finding garage gurus who have been really, really good partners for us. So that's what worked for us. That's the formula. But it certainly doesn't mean it's going to work somewhere else. And I think if there was somebody involved in a state tire association elsewhere and they wanted to get in touch, I would love to talk to that person and share best practices, because I think when one gets better, we can all get better.
Oh, for sure.
Well said. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll in Tire Review definitely would love to help in connecting you guys with anyone and anyone that's interested in talking with you all too. So that's great, and congratulations on all the training that you guys are doing. It just elevates the industry and it's so great to see. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, and thanks to our board too, and for Tom and Alex for being here.